I planned my parents' 40th anniversary party for 170 guests with my $46,000, but Mom said, "This party's too grand for a farm boy like you. Don't come." They held it without me. My sister laughed, "You're a nobody in this family." They even posted my exclusion on X as a joke. Aunt Lisa whispered, "We'll set this right." I just smiled and said, "Noted." Then I canceled the catering payment and the live band contract. Hours later, a screeching alarm blared through the venue, and their socials exploded when a celebrity guest I invited burst in to call out there. "You? At our anniversary?" Mom's voice cut through the speakerphone like ice. "This party is too grand for a farm boy like you. Don't come." I stood in the middle of the rental space I'd paid for, chandeliered ceilings, linen-draped tables, a full dance floor that took 2 weeks to get city permits for, and stared at my phone. "Wait," I said, my voice tight. "What are you talking about? I planned this whole thing. I booked everything." "And that was your choice," she interrupted, like it was a favor she never asked for. "We'll still hold the party, but it's best if you don't show up. It's a family event." A beat of silence. Then laughter, not from her. "My sister. I told you," she giggled. "He thinks he matters because he grew some lettuce and bought a few chairs. You're a nobody in this family, Brian. Always have been." They didn't hang up. They laughed and left the line open. I heard cutlery clink, someone pour champagne, and then a voice, maybe my cousin Josh, say, "Did he seriously think we'd let him sit next to the mayor?" That's when I checked my phone. A notification. X, formerly Twitter. A video. My sister filming herself at the venue I paid for, twirling on the ballroom floor. The caption read, "When your brother thinks he's invited to the party he paid for. Hashtag farm funds, hashtag who's the boss now." The comments were rolling in fast. "Oof, that's cold. Wait, this is real? Did he really give them 46K? I didn't respond. I didn't text. I didn't scream. I smiled. Aunt Lisa, always the whisperer, had texted me separately when the video dropped. "They're going to regret this. We'll set this right." I just replied, "Noted." Then I opened the catering invoice on my laptop, hovered over the payment confirmation, and clicked Cancel. The $18,500 refund would take 48 hours, but the cancellation? Immediate. Next, the live band. Contract Clause 14B. Event date contingent upon final confirmation and day of coordination contact. That was me. I emailed the band leader one sentence. "Do not play. Your contact has been revoked." And then, for fun, for catharsis, I checked the venue's backup power system I'd paid for. Just a flick of a switch on my remote app. 10 minutes later, a screeching alarm rang through the ballroom. And I hadn't even used the nuclear option yet, the one with the celebrity guest, because they thought I was a farm boy. But they forgot something about farm boys. We know exactly where the dirt is buried. I didn't always have $46,000 to throw into an anniversary party. Wow, I didn't even have $460 for most of my 20s. I grew carrots. Literally. And kale, corn, soy. I built my business from the dirt up. No investors, no bailout, just sunburn, frostbite, and 18-hour days. That farm paid for everything. My truck, my tools, and eventually, my parents' health insurance when Dad's consulting dried up and Mom's back gave out. I paid their premiums in silence. When the roof on their house caved in, I sent contractors and didn't bill them a cent. My mother called once to say thanks, or maybe it was to ask if I could also replace the siding while the guys are there. The thank you never came. My sister's twins needed daycare. I wired her the deposit. When my nephew flunked a semester in college and lost his grant, I quietly paid his tuition. Birthday gifts. Utility bills. Grocery runs. Every Christmas dinner. Every summer barbecue. I arranged it all. Bought the chairs, grilled the meat, swept up afterward. They showed up, ate, left. Not once did anyone ask how the crops were. Not once did anyone ask how I was. Instead, I got lines like, "You're a guy, it's different for you," my mom said once. "This kind of responsibility doesn't wear you down the same. If you don't help me, the kids get nothing for Christmas," my sister texted. "Don't do that to them. Not again." And Dad? Straight up, "You got money now? Then prove it. Or forget you're my son." Funny how the definition of family always seems to hinge on whether or not I'm swiping my card. Dad always hated the idea that I own land. Said it made me cocky. That I was playing man just because I bought some dirt and stuck my name on it. That's why he never once came to see the farm, not even when I was on the cover of Modern Agri. Said it was for small-town losers who need attention. Mom didn't argue. She never did. She'd just look at him and then at me like, don't make this harder. And Megan, my sister, had a gift. She could take anything I did and turn it into her own accomplishment. Like when I paid for the anniversary venue. She posted a selfie tour of the ballroom with the caption, "I've worked so hard to make this day special for our parents." No tag, no mention. But she sure cashed the check I sent her for planning support. At first, I thought I was being paranoid. Then I started seeing it everywhere. Little comments under photos. "You're such a great daughter. They raised a queen. This must have cost a fortune. You're amazing." And Megan always replied, "Would do it all again. They deserve the world." All while I was wiring final payments to the florist. Then it got worse. A day after I was uninvited, my cousin Jonah texted, "Bro, what is this? Thought you planned the whole thing." I asked what he meant. He sent me a screenshot. A group post on Facebook. Public. "Family is built on love, not ego. Tonight, we celebrate our parents, together. Thanks to all who helped. Especially those who did it for the right reasons. Hashtag family over fame." A comment underneath. "Who even is Brian anymore?" Another. "Some folks just want to buy love with lettuce money." Then the kicker, someone posted a video from the party, Megan on stage, holding the mic. "Some people think money equals love," she said, and the crowd laughed. "But love is showing up, not just paying up." Applause. Real, actual applause. I stared at the screen until my hands shook. I called the decorator I hired. Asked for a copy of the invoice. She sent it back with a note. "Just confirming payment came from Brian R., and all planning was handled via your email. Hope the event went beautifully." It hadn't. Not for me. I dug deeper. Opened a shared family folder Megan had once accidentally synced to our old Dropbox. It was still live. There it was, a PDF titled "Timeline for 40th Megan Only." In the notes, "Rewrite narrative. Mention family support but remove Brian's name from toast. Photos. Crop him out of planning pics. In case he complains, say he volunteered, then changed his mind. Then I found the message. An email from Megan to her college friend. I'll never forget the subject line. "Farm boy fell for it." And the body? "Spoke to Dad. He's fine with cutting Brian out." Mom's pretending to be heartbroken, but secretly relieved. He dropped $46K like a puppy wagging his tail. Honestly, we finessed the out of this. And he's still not invited. That was it. Not the post. Not the mic speech. Not the deleted mentions. That email. It split something open in me that had been cracking for years. I didn't reply. I didn't cry. I just opened the folder labeled insurance. Inside, copies of every bank transfer I ever made for them. Email threads from my accountant about their unpaid reimbursements. Scans of tuition checks. Audio recordings, like the one where Dad said, "Brian? He's just an ATM with boots." A video from 2 months ago, Megan asking me to book the band, as a gift from her. I copied it all. Uploaded it to an encrypted drive. And then I wrote one sentence in the Notes app. "If this is war, I'm not just ready. I already chose peace without them." I sent one message. No emojis. No desperation. "Dinner. My place. Sunday. 6 p.m. Just talk." They all came. Because of course they did. If there's one thing my family loves more than control, it's curiosity. And the chance to feel superior. I had no chandeliers. No 5-star tables. Just a long wooden board set across 2 sawhorses in my barn-turned dining room. Real wood. Real food. Everything from the farm. Roasted vegetables, herb chicken, handmade bread, apple pie from my neighbor's orchard. Candles flickered in empty jam jars. Mason jars for glasses. Woven chairs. In silence, until the first fork scraped a plate. Mom was the first to break. "This is nice," she said, which in her language means better than expected from you. Dad was already pouring himself wine like he owned the place. Megan smiled with that glazed, brittle charm she uses in family photos. "I'm glad we're talking again." "I didn't say that," I replied calmly. The room stilled. I stood. No script. No drama. Just decades of pressure pressing on my spine, finally rising up. "I invited you here to end the story. The real one. Not the one you wrote for social media." Megan chuckled. "Brian." "No," I snapped. "You talked enough at the anniversary. Remember that line? Some people think money equals love." Her smile vanished. I pulled out a folder. Thick. Tabbed. Printed. Every bank transfer I made to this family. Every payment. Every bill I covered. Labeled. Signed. Tracked. Dad rolled his eyes. "You think this makes you a hero?" "No," I said. It makes me the guy who finally kept the receipts. I flipped to a page. Read aloud. $3,800. March 11th. Paid for the venue deposit. From my farm's business account. Routed through a secondary card you asked me to co-sign on, Dad. Then, $1,200. Catering adjustment. Covered after Megan said, "We're a little short." You remember that? Mom shifted in her chair. Megan's face tightened. Next page. Audio file. Dad saying, "Brian's just an ATM with boots. Want you to play it." "Don't you dare," Dad barked. "Oh, but I do dare," I said. I hit play. Dad's voice, scratchy and smug, echoed from the little Bluetooth speaker beside the salt shaker. "He's a farm boy with a wallet. He'll pay. He always pays. Long as we pretend to care." Nobody chewed. "I knew this was a trap," Megan muttered. "You just want to humiliate us." I looked at her. Cold. Steady. "You humiliated yourselves when you posted that video calling me a donor from the dirt. You laughed. You edited me out of photos I paid for. You told the world I wasn't invited to the party I funded." I slid a printout across the table. Her email to her friend. Farm boy fell for it. $46K and not even a seat at the table. She didn't deny it. Couldn't. Then came the knock on the barn door. 3 slow raps. I walked over and opened it. He stepped in. Jason Clay, lead singer of the County Sons. Local stars. Headlined the festival last year. Half the table gasped. Megan blinked. "Wait, you know him?" He nodded. "Brian hired us for the party. We were ready. But then he called it off. Said his family pulled something unforgivable." He looked around the room. "You all laughed when the band didn't show up, right? Thought it was a mistake?" "It wasn't." He stepped forward, voice calm but cutting. "We didn't play because he said not to. And we stand by that. We don't play for people who erase the ones who pay their dues." Then he turned to me. "You still want that set we talked about?" I smiled. "Next summer. Harvest Fest. All welcome, except them." Laughter from Jason. One sharp nod. Then he walked out. Door creaked. Silence returned. Dad stood abruptly, chair scraping. "This is payback. All of it." "No," I said. "This is clarity." Mom reached for my hand. I pulled away. Megan's voice cracked. "Why are you doing this? We're family." I stepped back. "No. You're blood. That's biology. Family doesn't make you feel disposable." Then I pulled 3 envelopes from under the table. Dropped them beside each plate. Copies of every legal document. Mortgage I stopped paying. Car loan I'm revoking. Utilities ending next week. You're not just cut off. You're cut out. Dad's hand trembled. Mom said nothing. Megan looked like she might cry or scream. But I didn't care anymore. I picked up my coffee mug. Took a sip. Then said the final words. "You call me a farm boy. You're right. I grow things. But now I harvest." And I walked out of the barn. Let them sit there with the dirt under their feet. It was never just dinner. It was the reckoning. The night after that dinner, I slept for 13 hours straight. No phone near me. No alarm. Just the dark, the crickets, and the long-awaited silence of no one expecting anything from me. In the morning, I walked the fields. Boots still muddy, shirt still wrinkled. And for the first time in years, I wasn't thinking about who needed money, who needed help, who was a little short this month. I was thinking about the soil. 3 weeks later, I expanded the greenhouse. Sold 2 old tractors and bought 1 better one. Repainted the roadside farm sign, too. Simple white on black. Open for everyone. Except family. Customers chuckled. Neighbors nodded. A few regulars raised their eyebrows, then dropped the topic. But I saw it in their eyes. They knew. Word had spread. Not from me, from them. My family. Turns out, liars talk loud when they're exposed. And louder when they're ignored. It started with a voicemail from Megan. "Look, I've been thinking. You made your point. But this is petty. Let's just reset. You're still my brother." I saved it under a folder called delusion.mp3. No reply. Next came Mom. She showed up at the gate, unannounced, holding an old apple pie dish I recognized from childhood. "I baked this myself," she said, hands trembling. "Your favorite." I didn't open the gate. "You know," she added, with that quiet tremble she used when trying to guilt me. "Families fight. They say things, do things, but we don't throw each other away." I looked her dead in the eye. "You didn't throw me away, Mom," I said. "You posted it, hashtagged it, laughed over wine." She didn't answer, just stood there, pie in hand, watching her son become a stranger. I turned and walked away. The pie dish was still sitting on the ground by dusk, flies buzzing over it. 2 days later came the letter, neatly typed, on letterhead. from a law firm I'd never heard of. My father was threatening to sue me for defamation. Defamation. For quoting his own voice. I didn't flinch. I didn't rant. I forwarded the letter to my lawyer and included a flash drive of the recordings, just in case. His response back. We're filing for damages from them for emotional fraud and exploitation. Interested? I told him no. I don't want their money, I said. Just their silence. And I got it. They stopped calling, messaging, visiting. I think even they realized nothing works when the puppet cuts his own strings. But people noticed. Folks who used to greet me with, "Hey, you Megan's brother," now just said, "Morning, Brian." Vendors who once asked, "How's your dad doing?" started saying, "You good, man." Even the barista in town, the one who used to flirt with my cousin, slid me an extra pastry and whispered, they messed with the wrong one. And still, I didn't speak. I didn't post. I didn't explain. I worked. I grew. I rebuilt the storage barn, added a small brick wall around the herb garden, upgraded the irrigation, cleaned out the cold room, painted my porch first time in a decade. And on the old wooden doors of the barn, I carved 3 words with a chisel and burned them in with a torch. We grow food. Then, underneath, smaller. Not forgiveness. It wasn't for them. It was for me. To remind myself, I owe no one anything but what I choose to give. Not my time. Not my money. Not my seat at the table. They made their table. Now they can starve at it. They used to say I was quiet. The kind of man who bottled things up. They were right. I bottled it all. Every backhanded comment, every joke about farm boy logic, every time they used the words, "You can afford it," like a crowbar against my spine. And then I burned the bottle. I'm not proud of how long I stayed in that family circus, feeding lions that never roared for me. I'm not proud that I paid for silence and called it peace. But I am proud that I finally chose something else. Me. After the dinner, things didn't explode. They rotted. Silently. Completely. Like a tree that looks strong until you press your thumb into the bark and your finger sinks in. The silence didn't mean they'd given up. No. It meant they were regrouping. Megan's message came 3 days later. Just a single line. We lost you, but we'll always be family. One day, I hope you'll come back. Back to what? The group chat where they clipped my name out of their gratitude? The table where my plate was missing but my credit card wasn't? I looked at that message while kneading bread dough. My palms thick with flour. I stared at it for 15 seconds. Then I deleted the entire thread. Gone. Like she never existed. Because from now on, she doesn't not in my world. My mother tried to come in softer. She didn't send a message. She sent Sam, my old friend, her buffer boy. He leaned on the fence like we were teenagers again. He held out a tinfoil-wrapped dish. She baked, he said. I raised an eyebrow. She's sorry, he added. Said she didn't realize how much it hurt. I looked at the pie, then at Sam, then said, calmly, if she didn't realize, it means she never saw me. And if she never saw me, I'm not who she's sorry to. Sam swallowed. Nodded once. He didn't try to argue. He knows what pride tastes like. It doesn't go well with pie. He took the dish back. I didn't watch him leave. Dad? He didn't even try subtle. A letter came from a local lawyer, not even a big firm. Probably someone he bullied on the golf course 20 years ago. Inside, a threat to sue me for emotional damages and character defamation. I chuckled. The man who called me a living wallet with boots now wanted reputation protection. I sent the letter to my lawyer with no comment. He called me within an hour. You want to countersue? He asked. You've got grounds. I thought about it. Just long enough to feel the old version of me twitch. No, I said. I've already taken everything they fear. Attention, access, and an audience. He laughed. Then I'll reply on your behalf. Make it dry. And I kept living. I didn't blow up online. I didn't post threads. I didn't make content. I made compost. Every morning I woke to the soft clatter of wind chimes and the smell of soil. Chickens clucked like gossiping old women. I added a new irrigation line. Bought a young apricot tree. Built a small bench under it. Didn't name it after anyone. Didn't dedicate it. Just sat there sometimes and existed freely. My regular customers came, noticed changes. You look taller, one woman said. I'm just standing straight for the first time, I replied. On the side of my barn, I painted it in stark, heavy letters. We grow food, not forgiveness. The next day, someone, I assume from the bloodline, came and scratched the word forgiveness off. I didn't fix it. I burned in a new plank below it with my branding iron. No second chances. Nobody came back. I changed my number. Not because I was scared. Because I was done. The old Sim? I smashed it with a hammer. Not dramatically. Just, finally. Let the dust blow back into the field. I gave the new number to 5 people. None of them share my last name. One afternoon, a kid came by the stall with her grandfather. She held a basket of tomatoes, looked up at me and asked, "Why don't your family help you?" Her grandpa looked embarrassed. "Don't ask that, sweetie." But I knelt and smiled. Because some folks plant weeds and expect you to call them roses. But this place. I waved around the farm. "Here, we only grow what feeds us back." She smiled. Grandpa nodded. "And me?" I stood tall. For the first time, I didn't feel like the family disappointment. I felt like a man with no ghosts in his fields. Just crops. Just peace. Just mine. They taught me that love was currency. I stopped paying. And I sleep just fine.